it must be one hell of a kick to play here, isn't it?
It's a tremendous, it's a frightening experience, really. The first time you play, it's when you play in front of a crowd like this, and as partisan as the Scots can be up here. The Scots, I'm going to keep saying Scots again, I'm not Scots. And very partisan crowd. But it's the old adage that once you get out and the game kicks off, you concentrate too much on the game and you forget about the fans. But the build-up is usually the most nerve-wracking part. I found that in the two World Cups I played in, that the England-Scotland match before those wasn't that important. We always felt that it wasn't as important as a game where all you had was that one match in the whole season.
All right, well, the teams are shortly to be with us. They're going to be led out, we gather, by Tom Finney, great old England international with 76 caps, and George Young, 53 caps for Scotland. This is the 100th game between these two old rivals. And the authorities felt, I think quite rightly, there's Tom Finney on the right, you can see, and George Young in the spectacles. Two great characters who in many ways epitomise the marvellous battles that Scotland and England have had over the years. Tom Finney, who played for England between 1946 and 58, and George Young for about the same sort of era. There's George carrying a little bit of weight, and he was always a mighty man right at the heart of those Scottish defences, against the likes of Lawton and Matthews and Mannion and Finney. And there's Tom. Told me he last played here. I was talking to him this morning. He last played here in 1958, and I think he remembers laying on a goal for a young gentleman called Bobby Charlton, who scored an absolutely brilliant one when Bobby was playing his first game here. There with the England manager, Ron Greenwood, a real great ambassador for the game, Tom Finney. And it's marvellous to see him. I said, you're going to enjoy it this afternoon. He said, yeah, I shall enjoy it, particularly if we win. So the old competitive spirit is still there. So Ron Greenwood there with his England team. And Jock Stein, the grand Scottish manager, with George Young. Scotland the brave has got them going a little bit on the terraces. Now the national. Left back instead of right. Joe Jordan and Alan Brazil persevered with up front. They weren't all that successful against Wales. No room for Gordon Strachan, although he's a sub. But it's good to see Allan Evans getting another chance in the defence, particularly after his brilliant performance for Aston Villa in that European Cup final on Wednesday when he subdued Karl-Heinz Rummenigge of Bayern Munich. So that's Scotland. England, meanwhile, with 5 changes from the side that beat Holland in midweek. But as Mike Shannon and Jack Charlton both said, Ron Greenwood getting close now to the team that he'll want to field against France in the World Cup a fortnight on Wednesday. Kevin Keegan back as captain. Another chance for Terry Butcher to claim a place in the back four. But a real crunch game for Steve Coppell, who's had so much trouble lately with a knee injury. so George Burley, it's certainly a marvellous opportunity for him. 18 months ago, he was injured badly, knee ligaments, in a cup tie for Ipswich against Shrewsbury, and I think a lot of people felt that his career might be over. But George had other ideas. He battled away. The doctors and the surgeons helped him. He got into the Ipswich reserve side, the first team. His sights were then set on Scotland, and now his sights most certainly are set on the World Cup. George Burley. And Steve Coppell, as I say, a real crunch game for him. He's suffering with a lot of fluid on his knee, and Ron Greenwood certainly needs to be convinced this afternoon that Coppell is 100% fit. There's no doubt that, as Ron Greenwood has said before, Coppell's is usually the first name that he pencils in on an England team sheet. So he is really important to England's World Cup cause, and it'll be important to see how well he plays and how fit he is today. Terry Butcher, well, he suffered a serious nose injury in a cup tie against Luton earlier this season. And of course, he now has got back to fitness and battling with the likes of Dave Watson and Steve Foster for one of those central defensive positions in the World Cup. And he'll be battling too against Joe Jordan and Alan Brazil. The scoring rate has not been all that brilliant for Scotland, but can they improve on that today? Well, it's going to be the Scots in shirts of dark blue with white shorts who kick off, attacking the goal to the left. England, of course, in white. Burley. And here's Robson. And again it's Robson, and now Brooking. Remember, England have won here on the last two occasions, and Coppell, in point of fact, has scored on each of the last three occasions when England have won. It's a free kick for England. Sansom with it. Wilkins planting a long high ball there. Butcher had gone right forward, but he in fact didn't get the touch. Brooking with a shot, well saved, and Brooking really hammered one in there, and Ruff did well to get behind it. Brooking, who seems to reserve some goal-scoring efforts for really important games. If you remember the two in Budapest, he hit that so well and unexpectedly, and a good piece of keeping. Butcher with the header. Well, what about that one, Jack?
That was a bit unexpected for this early in the game. He didn't strike it as well as he would like to have done. I think if that ball had gone to the far post, he would have probably scored with it. But he hit the near post where Allan made a bit of a meal of it, I felt. It was a good save, but he could have done it a lot easier.
Hartford, Brooking, Coppell, shaken off Souness, but he couldn't shake off McGrain, and that was a really tough challenge there by Danny McGrain on Steve Coppell. It's a free kick. On both sides will want to keep a clean bill of health with the World Cup beckoning. There was no love lost there. That was a real firm challenge there by McGrain. It gives England the free kick. Mick Mills will take it. Butcher coming in on the far side and getting in behind, although Jordan was right back there to try and nullify anything that Butcher may do. Butcher it was who got the touch from that long free kick. And he wasn't far off.
I think he made a mistake there, Butcher, actually. When he went in on that one, he went to play it with his feet. The normal inclination of a centre-half going into that position would have been to head the ball. And I think had he gone for the header, he would have probably scored, because that's easily the best chance we're going to see in this game missed.
Jordan up well. Dalglish with the header. Mariner. Good start by England, though. They've had two possibilities in the opening 2 to 3 minutes of the game. But now Brazil on the move. Well stopped, though, in the first place by Thompson. But Burley playing it in for McGrain, and that's over the top. Well, a really bright and sprightly start here. And Thompson's header, in point of fact, although he got his head to it, it tended to put England into a little bit of trouble.
Very interesting to see the way Danny McGrain is playing in this game. He's playing almost like an outside left, and they've pushed the play 3 at the back, Scotland, and pushed 3 into midfield. And the fullbacks are the ones that are going to be the midfield players.
Hartford finding Brazil. McGrain again playing that outside left role that Jack was talking about. Dalglish. Mills sticking off him. Dalglish getting it in. Shilton allowing that to go over for the goal kick.
It's a sort of pattern that you would find that is very prevalent on the continent, that they play this way, the way Scotland's playing. The big danger in it is that if you have anybody from midfield who has got any pace at all, he can exploit the spacing behind the fullbacks very quickly.
If England have anybody,
but England haven't got anybody in that situation today. But if you had someone like Trevor Francis playing there, then they would have a few problems, the Scots, with this. But the way the England team are set up today, it sort of suits the pattern Scotland are going to play, because they're playing man-to-man marking on the two front runners and having a sweeper on at the same time. It's quite interesting.
Brazil, Souness, Dalglish played on for Alan Brazil, and his Ipswich teammate Mick Mills just getting in there. England not happy with the West German decision to give the corner, but a corner's been given. Mills did a great job there for England. Dalglish will now take the corner for Scotland. Narey has come up from the back. McGrain is there with a header. On the official team sheet that Evans is given as number 4 and Hansen 5. I think Evans is wearing 5, Jack, and Hansen 4.
Yes, that's right there.
And there is Evans getting above Keegan. Jordan is ducking in there with a header. Kenny Sansom. Keegan for this one, being shadowed by Evans, and a little shove in the back by Keegan on the Scottish number 5. It's a free kick, and it looked to me as though Ruff had a little collision there with Paul Mariner, which has left the Scottish goalkeeper just a little bit groggy. The whistle had gone way before that collision, but it's Hansen on the ball for Scotland. Now to Narey. Souness playing in the midfield now. Evans. Alan Hansen. Jordan's ball nodded there towards Dalglish. There's Burley making the break on the right again for Scotland. Dalglish once more. That's a good ball by Dalglish. Straight to Danny McGrain. Played in again towards Joe Jordan. It's a corner again for Scotland. It was Thompson just flicking that one away. As well that he did, because Brazil was positioned in behind him. So another corner for Scotland. More pressure for England. Dalglish will take it. Evans is up. Brazil's in there. Jordan's a big man who could be a threat to England. And Narey is up with a bit of space there, but England haven't picked up. But it's hit in low. And it's Narey with the shots and a goal kick for England. One of the Scots down injured. I think it's Joe Jordan. Yes. Took a whack there when that corner came in unexpectedly low. You were tapping my knee, Jack, as though you wanted to say something.
Well, I do, because you see, this is the sort of system that I feel Scotland are playing. That England have got better equipped players to play this sort of system than Scotland have got, in fact. But we've never gone along and played this way. I think we played it once in the international about four matches ago. This is a lovely way of playing. It's tight. It gives you people to break forward, and if you've got the right sort of people, it could really cause England a few problems today. And England haven't sorted the job out properly yet. They don't really know what's happening to them.
In a nutshell, tell me what the system is that Scotland are playing, so that we.
Well, they're playing Joe Jordan up front, and they've dropped Kenny Dalglish back into midfield, and he's working off behind the front too. And they're letting the fullbacks push up and be the wide men. People have to go in and pick up Alan Brazil and the other people. You have to have cover on, so it allows the fullback to come. And they've done it quite well, Scotland, and they've really worried me the way they're building up their attacks here up to now. It's much better than England's approach.
Well, it's a throw to Scotland, which Danny McGrain will take, one of the fullbacks, as Jack says, who has now got a freedom with Burley to make those foraging, attacking runs. Souness, a real tigerish competitor, Graeme Souness. Here he is again. Chip ball there, but it comes off Keegan for another throw to Scotland. McGrain with it, and he picked up Souness well, who in turn picks up Burley well. Evans is coming up from the back, but he won't need him. It goes to Souness, it comes to Hartford.
See, England are getting in all sorts of tangles at the back because they've got 5 players going into the back and they've nobody to mark. And Scotland are pushing the people up. into positions where they can get the balls coming across and they can run to space. England have got to learn to come out and pick these people up on the runs earlier than they are doing. They're anticipating something that isn't happening at the moment.
Now it's Robson. And it's a throw to England. Sansom. Keegan. Wilkins. Keegan. Challenged unfairly that time by Narey. Burley there. The Scots now pulling a lot of big men back into their own penalty area as Brooking takes this corner. Jordan's gone back as well to watch Terry Butcher. And Butcher, in fact, almost got his head to that one. It was a defender who got it away. It's Coppell now, stopped by McGrain. And it's a throw to England. Wilkins. Dalglish. And that's a ball for Brazil to chase. Sansom is there looking around him, but it fell for Brazil. The bounce beat Sansom, but then Thompson got his tackle in, and Robson releasing it for Mariner. Butcher. Wilkins. Butcher. Brooking. And the cross there for Mariner. Just wide. And it should have been, because the Scots marking was very lax indeed there, Jack.
Yes, it was terrible marking here, and this should have been a goal for England, because Paul Mariner missed the target there when he should have really planted that one away. And this is one of the problems in this. When you start playing man-to-man markers, they've got to be very tight and they've got to know what they're doing. And to let Paul Mariner get away from a marker there was criminal if Scotland are going to play this system.
Right, Hartford falls for Brazil. And now with McGrain. Coppell battling, and I think a little hurt that a free kick should have been awarded against him for that. But it's Scotland's free kick. McGrain will take it. Coppell being told to stand off. Brazil waiting up there. Butcher looking to mark him. McGrain to Hartford. But a challenge that time by Brooking unfair. And the West German referee giving another free kick to Scotland. Asa Hartford will take it. Brazil and Jordan and Evans on the far side are going to home in on this one. Again hit in low, came off Brooking in point of fact. Could have embarrassed England. Shilton was safe. Thompson. Wilkins. Keegan leaping with Evans, but it was Keegan, in fact, who got the touch. It eventually finds its way through to Robson, and his pass picking out Mills. Good ball there in for Mariner, played back again for Wilkins. Robson's made a good break through the middle there, but Burley's gone with him, and that's a corner for England. Good break by Bryan Robson in a side that has been changed a fair bit. This is his 16th consecutive game for England, and I know Ron Greenwood holds a lot of store on Robson's ability through that midfield with the World Cup coming up. Well, it's Brooking with the corner for England. Mick Mills out there as well. Danny McGrain ever watchful. Keegan making a run towards the near post. Robson's right in there too, and Butcher against the post, and Mariner with a goal. Mariner for England, 1-0 into the lead.
Again, your marking fell down there, Brian. There was some dreadful marking there with us in the Scottish team. There were Scotland's players standing all over the 18-yard box, and nobody's picking up anybody. They're all ball watching what's happening here. Look at the way Butcher goes free. And the ball coming off, even that one went knocked in again. Scotland players standing about, wondering who's going to pick up who. We said this would be a problem for them learning how to man-to-man mark.
Well, it was Robson with the first header. Butcher with the second one against the crossbar, and number 9, Paul Mariner, going in there to make it 1-0. That's with 14 minutes gone. Now Hartford coming to this one, and Brooking coming for it as well. But collision there as Brooking hits the Scottish number 4, Alan Hansen. Mariner, who has scored 1 but could easily have scored 2. Silenced Hampden Park to a large extent, because remembering, of course, that England have taken no tickets for this game. It is a 100% Scottish audience here today, and they're a goal down. Paul Mariner's goal. Brooking, Mills, Wilkins. Hansen. Again. And Burley. Butcher's header. And Robson's. And Keegan's. But there's one by Narey for Scotland. Butcher again. And now Souness. Burley. And Sansom cutting it out. And finding Robson with a good ball there after a good little bit of play down that touchline. It's 15 minutes gone. England leading by a goal to 0. Souness for Scotland towards Big Joe Jordan. Low kick.
Seem to have come to grips a little bit across the midfield now. Instead of all drifting into the back 4, they've started to push out and pick up people in midfield, and it's looking a much better and a healthier pattern.
Mills for England. Robson getting in towards Keegan. It was Evans who got it away. It's Robson again, the little touch towards Brooking. In fact, instead for Mariner, who's a little deep, beaten though by his Ipswich teammate George Burley. Sansom, a long ball forward, and Keegan given offside by the German linesman. So Burley, Souness, Evans, Brazil. No, he didn't really get a touch to it. Jordan now being pursued, and in the end beaten by Butcher, who gets it back to Shilton. Jordan complaining that there was a bit of shoving there from the big England number 5. Thompson. There's some space there for Sansom. Acres there for him. Pushed on now for Brooking. Now that left foot of Brooking, and Mariner's head again, and once more the Scots were badly caught out there, and they're looking at each other and wondering what they can do about this. Bad marking again, Jack.
Yeah, and the crosses is bad marking, but there again you see Mariner should be digging them away. There's no way you can get headers like that and miss the far post. The ball's got to hit the target. He should have had a hat-trick already. But it's interesting that these inside and inside right and inside left positions against the team that are playing man-to-man markers with a sweeper are the ones you can exploit. And in that build-up there, it was a classic case. And for a fullback coming up, releasing a runner into the corner flag, and it means that one of your sweepers have got to come across, and then you're in with a chance.
McGrain for Scotland. Stopped that time by Mills. Yes, it is quite remarkable to think that Mick Mills is Ipswich companion Paul Mariner could easily have had a hat-trick in the first 18 minutes of the game. Instead of that, he's got one, by which England are leading Scotland here at Hampden Park, 1-0. Shilton, the man who captained England against Holland at Wembley on Tuesday night. There's England's scorer. He's under a bit of pressure himself with Trevor Francis on the bench. Wilkins, Brooking. Little touch by Keegan. Here's Mariner again. Space there for Mills to plant it forward. Wilkins have gone forward from the midfield, but it's a goal kick to Scotland. Scots, in fact, who are being watched here today by Konstantin Beskov, the Russian team manager. Russia, of course, in the same World Cup group as Scotland. I would have thought that he might well have felt that Mr. Oleg Blocking and company might have some fun at the moment at the expense of the Scottish defence, at the way the Scots are playing at the moment. As England are coming here once more. And it's Hartford who gets it away to McGrain. Dalglish after this one, stopped by Mills. Here's Robson. Sansom outside him. The Scots are backing off. There's a lot of room once more for Kenny Sansom. Wilkins. Sansom again, and Brooking. Space here again for him in that inside left area. But not a typical Brooking cross by any means. Alan Hansen forward to Alan Brazil, who's yet to score for Scotland. Burley. Thompson inviting the fullback to go inside. Well, he's found Alan Hansen. Now Dalglish, who's got McGrain in a good position there. Can Thompson cut it off? He can't. But in the end, it was Mills who got in there. Once again looking vulnerable to the advances of McGrain. Here's again Danny McGrain. Now Kenny Dalglish. McGrain now. Can he find a good cross here for Scotland? One to trouble and test England. No, he finds Dalglish instead. Brazil guiding it back for Souness, and that's a goal kick. Scots who leave, in fact, at the end of this coming week for Portugal to complete their build-up to the World Cup there. I think they've got a couple of games organised there.
It's Danny McGrain's getting into some good positions down his left-hand side, and in that situation where he came on over, the interesting part is that he's never going to be confident in putting the ball in on his left foot the way he should be able to, as a natural left-back would. It's interesting in that situation there, the ball could have gone in early, but he checked out on his right foot and decides to play him in that way. And that gives the defence an advantage, that the ball swings into them. And then you can push out and let it go through their goalkeeper on right-footed crosses.
Long clearance there by Narey. Might put Thompson under pressure. Jordan was lurking, but Thompson kept his nerve well and finds Kenny Sansom. Into touch. Scotland's throw. George Burley with it. Souness. Dalglish. Hartford. Might come for Jordan. Free kick for the foul on Asa Hartford. Scotland's goal scorer against Wales on Monday. His first goal, in fact, for Scotland in some 5 years. I'll tell you one thing, he wouldn't mind adding to that right now. So Peter Shilton signalling that wall. Just lining it up. Hartford and Souness behind this now for Scotland. And the German referee wanting the wall back 10 yards. Now, Scotland strike the equaliser. Souness onto that left foot of Hartford, right into Shilton. Struck it well, but the wall was well formed, and Shilton was nicely behind that. In the end, there wasn't a great problem for him. Thompson for England. Butcher. Hansen. Evans. And Sansom in there, shaking off the challenge, and it was a juddering challenge from Brazil. It's Mills finding Steve Coppell, who's had a fairly quiet time so far. Thompson, what a good ball there. And Mills suddenly finding himself in a forward position. Keegan playing it for Robson. Again, in a lot of space over on that left-hand side, and plenty of time for Robson to get a good cross in, and he failed lamentably there to do it. So Burley gets it away. But Butcher is there with time to spare for England. Oh, past Dalglish. Ball played for Robson, in turn for Brooking. Butcher. It was Evans asserting himself and getting it away. Thompson, not a particularly good header there. Jordan trying to get it down towards Dalglish, who in turn succeeds in finding McGrain. Thompson's across to challenge. Hansen. A long ball out for Brazil, chased by Kenny Sansom. And Sansom puts it away. So Scotland's throw already taken. Burley finds Souness. And a corner off Brooking for Scotland.
England players there are pointing again at Danny McGrain because they all went in under that ball for the original cross that was ricocheted, went for a corner. But if that ball had been crossed, Danny McGrain's finding so much room outside his far post, it's not true.
Now Dalglish looking for a yard, but getting another corner. This time off Bryan Robson. So Dalglish. It's there, he's got Jordan, Brazil, and Allan Evans up from the back to aim for. Souness going in towards the near post. And Jordan went in there but didn't really get a touch to it. Hartford might just flick something in there. Joe Jordan's in there too, and Mick Mills leathering it away for England. Keegan. Came off Burley, it'll be England's throw. Just over 25 minutes gone, and England leading by 1-0. Scored after 13 by Paul Mariner. Looking stopped by Souness. England's throw. Thompson. Wilkins. Space out on the right for Coppell, and Wilkins is directing Coppell go inside McGrain, but Coppell was reluctant to go, but his left foot cross might well find Keegan on the far side. Might now come for Brooking. Now, can he get past Narey? There's a Brooking cross, but nobody there to receive it. So here comes Danny McGrain. Asa Hartford. And Sansom. Time to consider all things, and decides in the end what? The short pass for Wilkins. Thompson, good challenge and a swift one there by Allan Evans, and not content with that, takes it back from Brazil. Back to Brazil again. Now for Hartford. Shifted once more towards Brazil. Thompson doing a good steady job there. Mills. Thompson, or rather Wilkins this time. Robson. And a battling with Hansen. And now Burley. Now wanted Burley to push forward. Instead it's with Hansen. He's got a chance to push forward. He's got McGrain again on the left. Instead of that, Dalglish, and he plays a stabbing pass there behind Hartford. That was a poor ball as well, straight to Souness. Hansen. Does that release Burley? Brazil in there. It looked like a handball. And what's he given? A free kick right on the edge. A handball there by Thompson, which I think England felt was a little harsh, that it was an accidental handball. But the West German referee ran menacingly there towards penalty spot. They claimed handball there, but he gave a free kick right on the edge of the England penalty area. As you can see, it could hardly be more central. It's so important that the wall is now lined up properly, that Shilton gets a sight. From Scotland's point of view, that Dalglish or Souness or Hartford, it the right sort of strike. Now, is this the moment for Scotland to get their equaliser? England leading by a goal to 0. Dalglish, Souness behind this ball. It's Dalglish, the little chip.
Well, I always feel when you get into those sort of situations that they go for little chips, and we haven't really got anybody with the ability to bend them and keep them down over the wall from that distance. The shorter the distance, the harder it is. And I was amazed there that they didn't work something down the outside of the England wall instead of, or either that or go for the direct shot, because there was room down both outsides there.
Mariner jumping for this one and winning it against Evans. Souness. Butcher. He comes as far as Jordan, though. He's got Brazil away on the right. Souness. Dalglish, but Coppell was there that time for England. Mariner coming for it. And the header finds Keegan. He just tried to nick it on there towards Wilkins. And England struggling to get possession here, and the Scots in the end getting it quite comfortably as McGrain finds Hansen. The long ball forward. Butcher just ducking in there. Keegan. Over the half hour gone, Scotland 0, England 1. Paul Mariner, the scorer after 13 minutes. Thompson. Mills. Off the referee. Well, that fell for Scotland. The referees are part of the field of play, just bad luck for England. McGrain. Good swift challenge that time by Kenny Sansom. Not content with making the challenge, he's now storming up almost into a centre-forward position. But out on the right here is Mariner. And still Sansom stays forward. And certainly the England midfield men and occasionally the back men, Sansom and Mills, have got really into strong forward positions. Here's Mariner, though. That's where you'd expect to find him. But maybe he wouldn't expect that. But he's got a free kick. Butcher's coming forward. Now the big man could be a threat. Jordan's come back with him. The two of them. Very quickly, Jack.
I think you'll find Kevin Keegan come very quickly to the near post on this one, and Butcher will stay out at the back and not attack the ball at all. Somebody else will go and attack the ball if the reading of this one is right.
Right, let's have a look then. It's going to be Brooking with it.
Because he bends and swings the ball in very nicely off his right foot, Trevor Brooking.
Brooking with the free kick.
See, Trevor tried to get there, but the Scottish blocked his run. But he tried to get there.
Souness away for the corner. And there, poised at the near post. Butcher's now at the near post. Coppell, I've noticed, has gone in front of Ruff, alongside Ruff. Brooking with England's corner. Keegan towards the near post. It's gone much deeper now as Robson. They all come advancing in on the far side, but in the end it comes off Bryan Robson and behind for the goal kick. So here comes Burley for Scotland. Well, Dalglish presenting Brooking with that. Towards Mariner. Coppell finding Keegan. It's Robson. And now Keegan again. Well, he's gone past Souness. Robson with the shot, who didn't begin to connect properly.
I'm quite pleased with these little runs towards the corner flag are catching the Scottish all over the place, and they don't really know how to handle it yet. And even one-on-one like that with someone like Keegan coming at you, left Graeme Souness a little bit exposed in that situation. And England could have made better of that position ahead. But they're playing quite tightly now, and there's a lot of determination and a lot of grit out there. It's quite a good, interesting game actually now.
Hartford. And a little shove in the back by Wilkins on Dalglish, releasing Narey. And on the far side is Burley to the path of Souness. Brazil's working on that far side. Souness again. Played the ball into Narey, who is not very strongly marked. Evans, who's forced to turn away a little bit by the attentions of Keegan. Then Hansen playing it in towards Joe Jordan, and in the end guided back skillfully by Thompson to his goalkeeper, Shilton. Burley, Dalglish, Hartford. Dalglish to Souness. And Mills bringing it clear for England and finding Brooking. The touch for Keegan. So it's Hansen for Scotland. Burley. Both sides, of course, looking for the right sort of encouraging and morale-boosting performance, but also looking to come away without an injury. England with another game to come, of course, on Thursday against Finland in Helsinki. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Dalglish. Time was Wilkins away towards Mariner, but Evans got his header in for Scotland. Keegan got one in for England. Robertson turning it on again for Paul Mariner. And Evans coming in. What a game he had in Rotterdam on Wednesday night. Aston Villa's man of the match, I would have thought, with the young goalkeeper as well, Allan Evans. Burley. Dalglish. Played in again for Brazil, looking to turn, looking to shoot, succeeded in doing both, but Shilton was there.
Dalglish is pushed up into these sort of positions, but he's not looked comfortable in them. And that's about the first telling ball he's been able to turn on quickly and feed it to the box to one of Brazil's feet. That's really counted. And it was a dangerous situation for that. But he doesn't look happy in this role, Kenny Dalglish. I think if the reverse to those...
A big word, Jack.
He didn't really know what was happening there, Phil, and he was committed to heading that ball. He could not have let it go. And he didn't really intend to get as much on it as he did.
Souness now. There's the shot, and there's the save again from Shilton. Two good little breaks there by Scotland. Two good pieces of clean handling by Peter Shilton. And a little apology, I think you probably saw there, between Thompson and his goalkeeper. Mills. Butcher. 7 minutes to go to half-time. Keegan. Oh, just bouncing away from Hartford there. Keegan trying to go in there. Now, was he shoving in the back of Evans? He was. Keegan may have felt that he was being obstructed. The German decides to give the free kick to Scotland. And here's Souness. Now Brazil. Now McGrain. In for Dalglish, but there's Coppell. And Mills only half getting that one away. It was a bit of a lazy clearance there, and I don't think he was helped by Coppell being just in front of him, but in the end, no harm for England. Shilton is there. Defensively, Jack, what do you think of England so far?
Well, after the first initial 15 minutes, when they got a little bit upset because their midfield were dropping in among the back four, England have pushed the midfield out to compete a lot more now, and they're handling the job quite well at the back. I feel in that sort of situation that just occurred there, where the ball was played by Asa Hartford for Joe Jordan to turn and run into the box. That's not Joe's type of game. Joe's a target man in the air to knock balls down for people. I still feel that if Kenny Dalglish had been in those sort of situations, that is what he thrives on, little balls into those areas.
Now Brooking.
The pattern's just a little bit long.
Oh, he nearly got that through to Mariner and to Coppell, both waiting, and it was as well for Scotland that Alan Hansen was there and on hand, and here he is again. Breaking forward now for Scotland. Looking for that equalising goal. Stopped, though, by Wilkins, finding Hartford. Now McGrain. Asa Hartford, chipped in towards the near post. Dalglish is there. Robertson's gone with him. And Thompson gets it away. Brooking. Played again towards Wilkins, but Wilkins won't get to that. Hansen always in command. 5 minutes to go to half-time. England leading by 1-0. Keegan. Brooking. Turn that he hopes will get him away from Dalglish, which it does. Hartford. Burley getting that away. Wilkins. Sansom. Now look at the space here again for Brooking. Now, can he make good use of it? There's his cross coming in towards Mariner, but in fact it hit Narey. Souness getting it away. 4 minutes to half-time. Thompson. Mills. Butcher. Thompson. And nobody in a blue shirt coming anywhere near them to challenge them, and England go on doing this all day. Now, Butcher getting it away to Mariner. Did he keep it in play? No, he didn't. It's a throw to Scotland.
One of the problems that the Scots are going to have to learn to overcome is that this possession football across the back, slowing it down, is important. It's got to be done properly, and it's got to be done with confidence, because it then gives your people from midfield a chance to get forward. In that last situation, Alan Brazil was hit with a long ball when he'd nobody there to support him on it. We've got to build it up and then get the players from midfield into forward positions.
Mills. Keegan. Coppell. Thompson. Butcher. And across the back four, completing the set as it comes to Sansom. This time a free kick given for an obstruction there by Evans on Mariner. So it's about 2 minutes to half-time now. And the pace has become a little bit lethargic. Sansom. Played into Keegan. Hansen getting it away, only as far as Coppell. A good goal-scoring record against Scotland. Helped there by Wilkins. Coppell turning it back again. Now Keegan's on the far side. Can Robson get to that one? Still in play. That looked marginally out of play, to be honest with you. But the linesman is right on this side, and it would have been difficult for him. It's England's throw. It's Wilkins in possession. A little chip coming in towards Keegan. Managed to get the backward header to Mariner. Can he do something here? And in the end, it's Evans who gets it away. Souness. And again, Souness. Now Brazil. Now having a run. He's got support up there with Jordan. Dalglish is coming up first. He couldn't get beyond Terry Butcher. But it's a throw for Scotland, which George Burley will take with a minute to go to half-time. Burley with the cross. Souness hitting it straight at Kenny Dalglish. It might just bounce through for Wilkins and then for Robson to get it away. Narey playing it back once more. Here's Souness. Butcher getting that one away. Wilkins trying to get it clear for England, but it comes to McGrain. So the Scots in a little flurry just before the half-time whistle. Souness playing it in there once more, or rather Hansen. And now Keegan on the break for England. That's a good run by Keegan. A little touch for Mariner. Keegan wanting it back again and offside. Half-time whistle, and not at all a bad first half for England after those problems coping with Scotland early on. Paul Mariner, the England goal scorer, after 13 minutes, and indeed in the first 20 minutes he might have had 3 all told.
Piece of music being played, the Hills of Tyrol. To be said that they haven't looked too much like stormtroopers so far in this match, but I suppose the Oberthea. Well, some good artistic work there. Hangover, or the need to clear the head at least, belonging more to the Scots. Although at the West End they're very much in the shade. Before the players return to the field of play, let us hear the thoughts of Jimmy Hill looking back on that first half.
Well, in listening to the half-time comments, we all seem to agree that the Scottish...
Back again. Let's just see whether there is a place for John Robertson. Joe Jordan is out there.
Get to grips with the pattern, and 1 or 2 players...
Number 16 is there. And who have they taken off then? Is it Asa Hartford? So 2 substitutions, 1 for each side. John Robertson is on for Asa Hartford, and Trevor Francis is on for England in place of Paul Mariner, who scored the England goal that gives them a 1-0 lead as we go into the second half. The Scots, who started this game as favourites, quoted at 11-8 this morning by the bookmakers, and remembering that England need only a draw to win the British Championship this season. The Scots need to win to do it. England leading 1-0 then. And now the Scots in the dark shirts attacking the goal to our right. Wilkins. I wonder if it was in Ron Greenwood's mind, Jack, always, whatever the score, whatever had happened in the first half, to give Francis a run in place of Mariner. Do you think that was so? Or do you think in some ways he may have been dissatisfied with Mariner in the first half?
No, No, I think he's probably quite pleased with Maran in the first half. He didn't score the goals he might have done, but he got to the positions to do it. So he'd be quite pleased with Paul Maran.
So in other words, he would have thought even before the game that Francis should have a go in the second half.
That's it. I think he wants to have a look at Kevin Keegan up front, and I think he wants to see if we can get these runs into the corner flag from Trevor Francis.
Well, Keegan is stationed right up front there alongside Francis, who slips and trips, and in fact finds a free kick surprisingly given against him. But it's with Hansen. Robertson dancing away on that left touchline, looking for something to come his way. It's Dalglish, and Burley has made a break. Sansom went that way. It released a little bit of space for Dalglish, and he very nearly played a ball into the path of Brazil, which could have been devastating for England.
And yet not enough room for people to run into. And the passing's got to be better than this for Scotland if they're going to make this system work.
Shilton with the kick. Foul on Trevor Francis by Allan Evans. A free kick to England. Butcher with the kick. Towards Keegan. Robson turning it in, and Burley turning it back. And Keegan is limping very badly. Now that could be bad news. He is just about getting his foot to the ground and he's in a bad way. My goodness, don't tell me something like this is going to happen just before the World Cup. But Keegan looks in pain. He's taken a knock on that left thigh. Let's just hope it was a knock that he can run off. It's a worrying sight, Jack.
Yes, he took it in the knock when he competed for the crossball just before, and I think it was more or less a knee in the thigh, which I don't think he's strained anything particularly badly. But you'll find out in a minute, because I don't think he'll stay on. Jordan
now for Narey. No, it's not a time to take risks with anybody, particularly people like Keegan. Now Dalglish. Wilkins was competing, but Dalglish still found Souness. It's Evans. Played for McGrain. Keegan coming towards the touchline saying he wouldn't mind a spray on his thigh. McGrain, Dalglish, Thompson getting it away for England. Wilkins onto his chest. A nice little bit of play there by Ray Wilkins. A nice bit of skill, and it releases Brooking. He looked towards Keegan, but found that Keegan was hobbling, and it was no point in trying to play the ball to him. So Wilkins takes it up again. There's Mills. Play on, says the linesman on the far side. You're onside. Coppell now turning it in. And Narey just chesting it down. Just to bring him up to date, Keegan seems to be moving a little more freely now. Very worrying moment, that. Souness. Narey, Burley, and off Robson. Narey again. Now Souness. They're going to bring Keegan off though, and they're going to bring Terry McDermott on. Not going to take any chances at all with England's captain. And here is Scotland though, with Souness. Played for Dalglish, where he can be so dangerous if he can turn in that box, which he's trying so hard to do. But it's significant that it was his Liverpool teammate, Phil Thompson, who knows all about that. Who got it away for him. Goal kick. So Keegan will come off. Pass there for Danny McGrain. Came off Phil Thompson. Dalglish is there again for Scotland, and it was nicked away nicely by Mills to Wilkins, and now to Coppell. But it's Scotland's throw. Game between the old rivals. The first one was away back in 1872 on the West of Scotland cricket ground. Cost you £1 to go in, and it finished 0-0. Here's Burley. Times really have changed. We've even got a goal. Robertson. Right-footed there towards Brazil, nodded on there. And Narey with a shot. And he might get another shot. It's charged down by Butcher. England a little bit anxious there for a moment or two. So it's going to be Dalglish with the corner for Scotland. Jordan, Evans, Brazil, Robertson. Narey is poised as well. Souness is in there. McGrain as well. They've certainly planted plenty forward. Joe Jordan looking to get there with his head. Souness now. Will he just dink one back in there? No, it's short for Burley. Now for Dalglish again. Taking on Brooking. Left foot cross towards Allan Evans on the far side and Brazil. And it's a goal kick.
John Robertson, you know, on the left-hand side, takes up terrific positions wide on the line. It's very difficult to mark. And now, a lot of teams in the first division in England last year pushed the fullback up and said, stand on him, because the automatic thing a fullback would do was to cover. And it leaves John room to go and attack him with the ball. And that's what's happened a couple of times against England. And they were lucky to get away with that last one.
McDermott now to Francis. And away onto this left-hand side with a quarter of an hour of the second half gone. It finds Bryan Robson. Taking on Narey. There's Robson. He's got past him. He's got time to get his cross in. Off the chest of Souness. Brooking claimed that it was a handball, but the referee, I have to say, was perfectly placed to see that it was a chest and not a hand. Here's Brooking. Robson. Dalglish. Oh, he hammered there on Dalglish. And Dalglish reacted very strongly, and it was a little bit unpleasant, to be honest.
I thought he was a bit unlucky there, actually, Bryan Robson. The ball spun and went away to the wrong side of Dalglish as he came in to get it. I don't think it was an intentional kick back.
Kenny Dalglish wasn't all that happy with it, Jack.
None of us are, but you've got to learn to take it.
Burley. Butcher. A long clearance. Evans. Hansen again. Souness. Dalglish. Hansen. Dalglish. Can this be the equaliser? A flick through for Souness. And McDermott hammered that one away before Kenny Dalglish could get in there. Well, I noticed that Jock Stein was off the bench there very quickly, and Alex McLeish as well, the substitute, to get that ball back and get it into play. Hansen. Narey. Dalglish. Out away now to Danny McGrain. Good spell of pressure this by Scotland. Now, can John Robertson find a way through on that far touchline? McDermott's backing off him. And it'll go for Mills. The little stab out there for Francis. McDermott, long away. And Scotland are going to make another substitution. They're going to bring on Paul Sturrock. As Hansen goes forward. And McGrain on the far side. It's going to be Joe Jordan who comes off. Brazil. Dalglish. And now Narey with a chance of a strike. And a save as it came, I think, probably off Kenny Sansom. A nasty deflection there. And Narey hit it well. It cannoned off Sansom, and Shilton had to readjust to save. Joe Jordan is coming off. And Paul Sturrock will come on. Came on as a substitute against Wales. And here he is again now against England. Well, that seems to be a popular move with the crowd at any rate. Souness. Burley. Narey. Francis getting back there. Brazil. Evans. Dalglish. Narey. Burley. Dalglish. Good spell of pressure again by Scotland here. With Sturrock on the far side. Coming, if anything, off Terence McDermott, I think, back to Peter Shilton. Coppell gathered nicely. McDermott up with him. He's gone past his man too. Coppell with a long cross towards Trevor Francis. And now it's Burley. Still Burley. Robertson. Oh, he whipped in a shot there, but it was a good 2 or 3 yards wide.
England are beginning to look a little bit sloppy at the moment. They look very lopsided at the moment. No one seems to know what they're supposed to be doing across midfield and the positions they're supposed to pick up. There's Ray Wilkins at the moment. They're arguing about where they should go and who should pick up what.
And also I noticed Don Howe down there doing a lot of pointing and shouting from the England bench.
I think it's probably great they want Brooking to come more on the left-hand side of the field and get involved in the game a little more. He's disappeared out of the game this half.
There's Don Howe, who's been doing a lot of organising and doing a lot of great work alongside Ron Greenwood for England in organising them and coaching them. Souness being forced back by Robson, still found Danny McGrain. It's Robertson finding Hansen, and Robertson wanting it back again, telling Hansen, play it out to the right. That's where Burley's in a lot of space, so that's what he does. Territorially, Scotland are having a lot of it at the moment. Hansen, Souness, but England still leading by 1-0. Sturrock stopped there well by the England defence as Wilkins now tries the long ball forward to try and get Coppell on his way, but Hansen there to tidy up. Back to Allan Evans. Good piece of play by Mills because it was a fair little dummy there by Sturrock. Now it's Souness. Dalglish on the turn once more. Thompson right there with him. Finding Robertson, who's now sort of central midfield. Scampering to the right as Evans takes it up to Scotland. Robertson. Souness. Cut out well by Francis. And Coppell alone up front and not really with quite the pace on a couple of occasions to really greatly bother Alan Hansen. But David Narey now for Scotland. Danny McGrain. And an interception there by Butcher. Kevin Keegan, incidentally, has come back from the dressing room and is now sitting on the England bench. Robertson, the little cross in there. Flicked on once more. It'll be a goal kick.
England midfield aren't working hard enough for the Scottish players.
Just a sec, Jack. There is the England bench. Yeah, Keegan is, I think, fourth from the left, 2 along from Don Howe, I think. Yes, there it is. On you go, Jack.
They've got to work a lot harder, the England midfield, than they're doing. They're letting the Scots play the ball at will now, knocking it about without closing it down and competing. The best part of the England first half was the fact that the midfield competed for all the balls in tightened areas. Now they've not done it as well as they should.
Right, here's Francis. A rare England attack. Ruff really has had nothing to do in this second half. Brooking couldn't quite get to that one. Having life made difficult for him by Narey, but he still finds Bryan Robson. In turn for Ray Wilkins, will he let one go? No, he won't. Mills, he's got Sansom free on this side. Here's Kenny Sansom. He's got Brooking outside him. Here's Brooking. Now will Brooking aim to get down to that. He lost the ball for a moment, and Narey's challenge was swift. England's throw. Trevor Francis on the ball. Slipped about 3 times there. Oh, that was not a very good ball there by Kenny Dalglish. McDermott cut it out and nonchalantly nodded it back for Ray Wilkins. That's a good-looking ball out to Trevor Brooking. Francis looking to see who might be available. The referee was a little bit in the way there as Sansom came forward. But it's England's throw with a little over 20 minutes remaining. Well, Coppell making a back for Evans was the referee's decision. A free kick to Scotland. McGrain. England still leading by 1-0. Poor ball there by McGrain, straight to Trevor Brooking. And Brooking's ball wasn't much better, hitting Narey. And now Souness. Dalglish. Of course, if England win this one, they win the championship. Well, what was happening there? I think there may have been a whistle in the crowd. McDermott certainly stopped and looked at the referee, and while he was looking at the referee, the ball was taken from him. Burley playing the ball into Shilton. To say, if England win this one, or even draw it, they win the British Championship, and if they win it, they bring the score to 39-39 with a battle between these two countries on this occasion of the 100th meeting. Souness now for Scotland. And Mills, oh word, that wasn't very clever. And in the end, the ball was a real Ipswich effort there because Mills played it across. Butcher tried to get it away. In the end, it came off Brazil for the goal kick.
They're certainly starting to look very weary, the England players. There's nothing snappy about the game. The first half was terrific. The second half has deteriorated from the England point of view. And we've got a goal, we'll keep it. And in doing that, they're going to give the Scots a chance to get back into the game unless they're very careful.
Yes, the absence of snap is really what it's all about up there. They're looking very lethargic at the moment. They've conceded another free kick.
In fact, it's a good job that the Scots aren't playing as well as they're capable of at the moment. Their game's just off a little bit.
Souness chipping it in. And a free kick. Maybe it'll be an offside. Scotland. Now Robertson, where he likes to be on that left touchline. A little chip coming off Mills, who puts it behind the Scotland's court. So the Scots are well represented in that English penalty area. So Robertson's corner, and Thompson's quite simple header away, but only as far as Souness, who can get it out to where Jock Stein would want it to be. Robertson on that left touchline. Let's see what he can do onto that right foot again. This time Evans came hard for it. But again, England got it well, and it was Sansom whose header it was. Hansen, Robertson.
Significant to look at Mick Mills and the way he's playing now. He's not gone anywhere near John Robertson. I think he's content to let somebody else do the job in front of him.
There's Mills again, being hustled by Sturrock on this occasion. That's a corner, is it? It is. Which Robertson will take. Look at the ball at all. Now Robertson floating it in there, a little wider this time towards Dalglish and Evans, and a good fist away. Got a good bit of distance on that Shilton. Burley, space here for Souness. Now Brazil, who's got a chance to get in behind them. That's a cross deep towards Allan Evans on the far side. And in the end, Sturrock couldn't quite get in there, didn't get the touch, and Shilton was able to grab it. But it was a nice little cross in there by Brazil. Evans jumped as high as he possibly could on that far side, got the header in, and Shilton gathered. Hansen back to Rough. Turn to McGrain. Evans. Thompson with the interception. McGrain again. Once more it's Evans. Robertson to Brazil. And Robertson. It's his cross. Well, it was Burley there, but he didn't really get a touch, and it was Francis who finally got it away, and Narey's shot, which may not even go for a goal kick. Yes, it has.
One of the problems England got at the moment is the fact that in the first half, when they had the two up front, any balls that were knocked out from a back four,
Evans. Hansen. Dalglish. Play towards Sturrock, and Mick Mills let it go. He'll be hoping that it gets out of play. It doesn't, and in fact, it's a corner. Very untypical of Mills. He let that one go thinking it was going to go out of play, and Sturrock was making darn sure that it didn't, and in the end Thompson was forced to concede the corner. So the big men have come forward again for Scotland. Phil Thompson, the big man at the back for England, gets it clear. Burley trying to play it wide again towards Robertson, succeeds in doing so. McGrain forward as well, but here's Robertson finding Burley. In turn for Souness. Burley. And again Thompson for England, but Evans. Dalglish. Stopped by McDermott. Burley again, 10 minutes remaining. Scotland looking for an equaliser. Sansom getting it away for England. Evans. Coppell battling away, beating Dalglish, releasing Brooking, and now this might be interesting for England. It's a real 2 against 2, 3 against 3, because Wilkins is coming up as Narey goes back. Still Brooking on the ball for England. And he delayed it for a moment, he delayed it a little too long. Played now for Robson maybe, played maybe for Francis. Francis whipping it across the face of that goal, and just wide. It wanted a touch, but McDermott couldn't quite apply it.
that's the first thing we've seen from Trevor Francis since he came onto the field. And it's a situation that he's very good at, giving the ball on the edge of the box, let him attack somebody, and he'll always create situations like that. Brookings died a little bit now. It's a pity we haven't got another 50, because I would bring him off. He looked very tired.
Burley. England, of course, with 2 substitutes already on, McDermott and Francis. Coppell. McDermott. It was a great break by England. I heard a little bit of whistling in the crowd afterwards, whether they are really dissatisfied with this Scottish performance. Now there's Francis again. A pass and space here for Sansom. Francis away on the left for him. Brooking going through the middle. Sansom finding Trevor Francis. Oh, that was a pretty poor ball. Straight to Souness. Now Sturrock. And in the end, it was Thompson under pressure from Sturrock, who hoped to get it back to Shilton, but in fact conceded the corner, which Alan Brazil is going to take. It's taking a little while for men to come up from the back, but the corner's taken. Robertson's playing it in, and the Scots really, if they'd waited a moment longer, they could have got a few more men forward. In the end, it came to nothing. And it's now with Narey. Dalglish. Souness. McGrain. A bit of acceleration. But Coppell getting it away, but there's nobody up there for England, so it'll be returned almost at once by Alan Hansen. But England still leading 1-0, 7 minutes remaining. Hansen. Dalglish. Kenny Sansom away. He's looking for the moment to release the ball. He's got Francis up ahead of him. He seemed reluctant to play that ball forward for Francis. Instead, it comes for Wilkins. It's back to Sansom again. Scots have got men back in numbers now. Robson, Coppell. On the right, McDermott poised. Coppell very deliberate with his pass out there, but there's no pace in the attack at the moment unless Coppell can quicken things up now. Here's Wilkins. He's trying to get that through to Francis. Brooking's in there too. McGrain missed that one. Coppell trying to nick it away from Evans. And the ball comes through to McDermott, and there might be a chance here for England to finish it all off now. And Robson just didn't quite get the touch again that was required after McDermott's hammered this ball low across that area. And you can see Robson arriving a fraction too late.
I think he was expecting that ball to be chipped actually to the far post.
There's an injury there. 5 minutes remaining. McGrain for Scotland. Souness. And again Souness. Dalglish. That was a funny old ball. He spotted Burley and then played it almost directly to Francis. Brazil just touching it on. Butcher getting it away, not very far. Dalglish just nodding that on, and 2 England boots came to that one, and Kenny Sansom in the end hooking it away. For Hansen, crowd not happy with a bit of play by Scotland. They want to see them pushing forward at Shilton all the time, and then they give it away. And here's Mick Mills. On for Francis. 4 minutes remaining. Look at the space here for Brooking. And Wilkins has gone forward. This is a bit more like the first half with our midfielders getting forward. Francis is right forward. Here's Robson. Mills. Coppell. He's got the legs. He's got the cross. And again, that's 3 times in the matter of the last 5 minutes when balls have gone humming across that Scottish 6-yard area. And needed just the formality of a final touch.
A situation there with a very tired Trevor Brooking trying to get on the end of that ball. A fit Trevor Brooking and a one on top of his game would have nipped that into the back of the net, no trouble at all. Tremendous crossing and a lovely bit of acceleration from Steve Coppell.
The referee given a free kick to Scotland for the foul by Butcher on Brazil. And Scotland with very few chances now to get this equalising goal as we come to the last 3 minutes of the game. England still leading by that Paul Mariner goal scored after 13. Narey with the cross. Thompson with the header away. It's only gone as far as Robertson, turned in once more. That time it was Butcher who got up there. Flicked in by Burley and Shilton's ball. Getting it back. Rough. I say, unless something really dramatic happens in the last 2 minutes, this is one of the least memorable Hampden occasions that I can recall.
I think you're being a bit unfair there, Brian. The first half was really a good competitive game. I think in the second half, we've seen England be totally negative in their approach, and in getting numbers of people back behind the ball. It made it very difficult for Scotland to penetrate it. It's been a good exercise for England, and not a very good one for Scotland, in fact.
It's with Sansom. Still, we always disagree, Jack, don't we? It's Brooking. Coppell's gone into the middle. That was a little bit clumsy there by Hansen, and Evans, in the end, retrieving the situation and getting it away skillfully for Scotland. Dalglish, shoving the back by Wilkins. Not the first of the afternoon, but that time he was punished for it. Souness has taken the free kick and he's found Narey, and in turn for Hansen. We're coming to the last minute of the game now. Scotland, with time running out so quickly now, if they're going to get an equalising goal that will keep the morale high as they go into the World Cup. So a corner in the last minute. All the big fellows have come forward again. Evans and Hansen and Narey's in there too. It's a good corner too. It was Mills who got his head to it. Narey who got his head to that one. Thompson who got to that one. And Robson inviting Shilton to come out and gather. And Shilton not too happy with the cover that was in front of him.
What Peter was saying was, when that ball was headed out from the cross, you should have cleared the area and left the Scottish players in. Instead, the England players stayed in the 6-yard box and then had to compete in front of Peter for a ball that was totally unnecessary.
Jack, we're in the last few seconds now. Just a quick summing up of what you think of England and Scotland.
I think England have shown that they've got potential. Really have got potential. They've got good players. A little bit more fire, they would have been terrific. Scotland, I think they can feel a little bit aggrieved at not having scored in the second half. They've been faced with some problems that they haven't solved. I would look to have seen a draw really in this game, so we could send both teams away with a bit of pride and something to play for.
Never thought I'd hear you say that.
The jury just for this year would have been World Cup. I'm a bit I don't really mean it. I don't know what I'm saying.
Right, it's Evans for Scotland. The referee adding time, added on for stoppages. Butcher up again well. Had a good game for England. Sansom neatly avoiding Burley, playing down the line. And a free kick to England, and I would think they're safe now. We're deep into time added on. The West German referee's looked at his watch again. It looks as though Paul Mariner's goal after 13 minutes will send England on their way to Finland and then on the way to Spain in very good spirits indeed. But here's Evans. Had a minute of time added on. Souness playing it, rather Dalglish for Souness. Mills intercepting. Will he get Coppell on his way? Will he in turn get Mills on his way? Free kick to England. Dejected Scots turn away. They know their number is up. England really have only to keep the ball in that end of the field to be absolutely sure now of that 1-0 victory. Another look at the West German watch. McDermott finding Wilkins. Nobody there to finish that one off either. Brooking going after it. The final whistle, a victory for England. Paul Mariner's goal. Kevin Keegan taken off in the second half, but nobody quite knowing just how serious that injury to him is, although he came back onto the bench. And as Jack said, many things to be pleased with so far as England are concerned. They solved the problems that Scotland set them early on, showed some good play up to half-time, became negative in the second half. But sadly for the Scots, they seemed to become more confused the longer the game went on. And in the end, they very rarely looked like pulling back that goal that would have given them a little bit of a boost to their morale before they go off to the World Cup. So England have won the home international championship, and they've won the match again the third successive time they've won here at Hampden Park. Paul Mariner's goal did it. We're going to take a short break, and